have a creative mind. Like every day, my mind is thinking creatively. Every situation, my mind is thinking creatively. My mind is thinking like, how can we make this happen in a way that kind of like nobody's ever done it before? Even like this interview, I'm thinking, how is this interview gonna play out? How is this gonna look on camera? How can we market this? You know, so you gotta think steps ahead when it comes to creativity, business, anything.
How are you different from now compared to 5 years ago?
5 years ago, 2019, I would say this is when I first started like pursuing the music in YouTube. I was like my senior year of high school, and me and my friend, we would like skip school and stuff. Like we would skip school and we would go vlog. We'd go to Harvard University. Let's go where there, you know, we go into the real world. Because school is not really the real world, and we knew that. So we kind of wanted to like indulge ourselves in the real world to where it's more serious. Life is really what you make it. In school, it's like a lot of politics, because in high school, for me, it was like a lot of politics, a lot of racism, a lot of just like the teachers are too familiar with you. They kind of like, you know, trying to change the trajectory of your life with the education system. I'd say back then I was more like, I had more of a vengeance, but I would say today I have more freedom and creativity. There's nothing to prove anymore. Back then I felt like I had a lot to prove. Right now it's like the world is my canvas.
So what's one advice, if you can go back like 5 years ago and tell your younger self, like what's one thing that's going to really help him, change him to be a better version? What would you tell him?
Be more respectful. You know, back then I was kind of a little disrespectful, because like when you want something so bad, sometimes you don't care about what other people think or what other people feel. But I wouldn't say I was a bad person, but like I just had a vengeance and I just seen the world in a certain way. But you know, traveling, it kind of opened my mind to, okay, the world isn't just black and white, black versus white. The world isn't just against you, you know? Now I kind of feel more open to the world. I kind of feel like I can cross over into more cultures, cross over into more ways of life and ways of thinking.
You know, like a lot of time, like when we grow up, as a child, we're very malleable. So people can affect our thinking and let's just say manipulate us in certain ways with our thinking. So growing up, if those ideas are programmed to your head doesn't serve you, how does one reprogram themselves? What's the effective way to get those ideas that are not serving you out of your head?
Change your location. Changing your location is very vital to anything. Getting out of your hometown is very vital, you know? Getting out to new locations, getting into new ways of thinking comes with changing your location. So I knew, like, once I first went to California, I left Boston, I'm seeing, holy shit, people are nicer here. People are more free-flowing. People are more accepting of differences, you know? People aren't assholes for no reason. Everything isn't segregated as far as race and like the way your life plays out. So being in places like that kind of like opened my mind a little more to what possibilities was out there for a young man like myself.
I agree. I completely back up that point, man. Whenever you're in a place, no matter how hard you try to think and sort through something, you get in this little loop, a circle, because you're always in that circle of influence or that environment. Once you get out, your mind just like frees itself and you get new inspiration. And Phuket actually is one place that does that for me really well. So I would advise you guys, if you've never been to Thailand or specifically Phuket, like come out here. It's going to change your mindset. And if you're stuck in a rut, it's going to shift you to a different person in a better way. I mean, whatever direction you want to head into, that's where Phuket will push you.
Yeah, that's one thing about Thailand that I loved about living in LA. Every day you can wake up with a fresh slate. Every day you can wake up and be whoever you want to be. Every day you can wake up and be somebody new, you know, focus on something else. Yesterday doesn't matter. 10 years ago doesn't matter, you know? That's why I love places like this where there's fresh energy.
Yeah, there's always the potential to break out of it as long as you think in that direction and take action towards it. Because at one point I was stuck as well, and I was thinking, man, I don't know what to do. And you know, like I was kicking myself because I always pride myself in like being a deep thinker and being intelligent because I always got good grades in school. But I'm like, how am I stuck? Like I thought I was like a really good thinker, but when I got out here and started traveling, it's there's no constraint. It becomes much easier, more fluid for you to figure yourself out and your ideas. So in the next 5 years, where do you see yourself? What's your goal?
In the next 5 years, I see my brand expanding even more globally than it is now. I see myself in a great place, somewhere in this world. I see myself doing things that doesn't exist today in 2024. You know, that's one thing about me. I like to be ahead. I like to do things and plan for things that don't exist yet. And that's why I feel like it puts me ahead. You know, I don't want what's working right now. I want what doesn't exist yet.
So when something is not in existence, how do you conceptualize that? Like, if it's easy to copy people who are doing things that are working right now, but you're thinking outside the box. You're thinking like an Elon, where he's like, yo, let's get this shit on Mars. So how do you conceptualize something and know it will work if it's not yet in existence?
It's just part of my personality. I always want things that nobody has yet. You know, I want to wear things that nobody has. I want to go places that nobody's been. I want to do things that nobody's doing, you know? So I've always been that type of guy who's in the mindset of the world's going to open up for me, you know? The world's going to get better for me. It's not, oh, life's going to get worse. Life's going to suck. That's how they want us to think coming up in America. Life's going to suck. Life's going to get worse, you know? Shit's going to get real. Shit's going to get harder for you. But I don't believe in that mindset and that way of thinking.
So what's your wish within 5 years? Like, where are you going to be in terms of location? What kind of job are you going to do? What kind of man are you going to be?
I'm going to be a very upstanding, well-cultured man. I'm going to have a lot more power and freedom than I have today. You know, that's one thing I'm big on, freedom. All you have are your dreams and all you need is your freedom. So I'm big on that, you know, and I'm big on achieving your dreams, but creating more dreams that you didn't think you could do. You know, I didn't think I would be in Thailand 5 years ago, like you said. I didn't think this was possible. I didn't think this made sense. But nowadays, this is like already crossed off the list. What's next?
So we're going to shift gear and talk about like social media. For people that want to build an online presence, on our format, like lives and videos and shorts, which one do you think is the most effective to build and have an engaging audience on?
Everything. Do everything. You know? I'll say pay attention to what works, study the game, but find your own way to do it. Like Kobe Bryant, he studied Michael Jordan, he studied the game, but he didn't do exactly what Jordan did. He found his own way. He found his own lanes. He was in a dunk contest. He started off trying to get it, you know, until he made a name for himself, until he built that status for himself. So don't focus on the status, focus on the love of the game when it comes to social media and creating content. Focus on the love of the game and being genuine. That's when people will rock with you.
And that's where you get unlimited data from, or unlimited content.
Yeah.
If you're genuine, it comes from your heart, it comes from your mind, and then you're able to then share more genuinely, and you can keep that path going.
Yeah.
When you're analyzing your data, because you talk about looking at your data, what do you notice with your hundreds of live streams and videos? What do you notice that people like to watch most out of the following three options? One, with the camera in your face, just walking around and talking with the camera on you. Two, with a back camera, like seeing the scenery and you talking. Or three, you interacting with the people, the locals, and then they just watch you interaction. Which one do you think is the most engaging for viewers?
since I've started, I know people like hearing me talk about life, talk about real stuff, just push the inspirational stuff. But like as far as traveling, people like seeing me cross over. People like seeing me with different races of people, different types of people, different women, different locals. They like seeing that crossover of like unity. That's why my brand is Global Unity, globalunityshop.com. I really stand for that. That's really a lifestyle. Me and you, we're from different places, different backgrounds, but we can relate on a deeper level. So I feel like people like seeing that everywhere in the world. And that's one thing that's my specialty. A lot of people do content, but they can't really cross over, you feel me? They can't really relate to people all over the world, in Brazil, Colombia, on a deeper level than just superficial stuff.
There must be days where you feel unmotivated, or are there, where you feel a lack of motivation starting to shake in terms of your vision?
Yeah.
Are there days that you struggle with this? And if there is, how do you get motivated again and get back on track?
Yeah, so in life, there's gonna be days where you forget the lines to your own story, especially doing this internet stuff or doing entertainment or whatever. Your fans and your people that support you, it's like they're gonna believe in you more than you believe in yourself sometimes. They know what you need to do more than you do yourself. But I feel like that's just growing pains. That's part of growth. To grow, I feel like you need to sometimes lose stuff. Sometimes you gotta forget what you're doing. Sometimes you gotta regroup. Sometimes you gotta take time away. And that's very important. A lot of people think they need to just put balls to the wall all year. But there's times where you need to go do something else. There's times where you need to change up your trajectory, change up what you want in life. That's normal. As we growing, it's bigger than just content. We're still growing as humans. We're still growing as young men. So I feel like don't stress it out too much. Life is still gonna go on. Just get better. That's the time for you to get better, you know?
Say if I'm waking up one day and I feel a lack of motivation, or I waver in my mission, which one of the following three do you advise? Number one, just go do it. Say, fuck it, I'm gonna go out there and like go do what I'm meant to do. Number two, take a break and just kind of chill out and take a break from what you're doing and then come back with more energy. Or number three, talk to someone like-minded like yourself or a mentor to try to get you back on your vision, more clarity on your mission.
See, I think all three of those methods work. You know, someone like me, sometimes I'll take solitude. Solitude is the best option. You know, no outside noise, just you and God. But sometimes you need to call an old friend who knows the real you, that can remind you of where we started, that can remind you of what your real mission is, what your real purpose is, you know? And then sometimes all you need is to just get up and go. Sometimes you might think, damn, this is not gonna work, this is not working anymore. Then you show up and then you meet the right person today. You go outside and you meet the right person who believes in you. You meet somebody that supports your channel. And then it's like, you're back on track again. You got the hunger again, you know? Sometimes all you need is a jump start.
Everybody needs someone to believe in them.
Yeah.
I like that line that you said because like, I remember meeting you in person for the first time and you're like, yo, I know your channel's gonna blow up because I used to be in the same path too. And you know, sometimes I think about that. I'm like, what you're saying now is so true because a lot of time when you're by yourself and you're doing something, you just need to think of that person that really believed in you. And that's gonna give you motivation because it's not just you. Now you have more energy from outside to push you towards your goal. So it's gonna give you more power and more clarity in what you're doing. So I agree with that one. How many days do you work on average, like a week?
For me, every day is work, you know? That's the thing about this lane that we're in. Even if I'm not on camera, I always tell my boy this. I always tell my boy, consistency doesn't just mean uploading, doesn't mean videos, it doesn't mean content, it doesn't mean YouTube. Consistency is a lifestyle, showing up every day for yourself before you show up for the internet. Showing up every day before you show up for the videos. Everything is lifestyle, your regimen, going outside, meeting people, all that comes into this, bro. networking, all that comes into this. You running your errands, you making up your bed, you brushing your teeth. Every day is work. That's consistency. All that is what makes you the product. You know, you got to be up to par. You drinking water right now. If you don't drink water, if you don't eat food, how could you make content? You know, invest in yourself. You are the biggest investment. So I feel like every day is work. Every day I'm getting better. Every day I'm learning new things, and that's money.
What drives you to work so hard every single day? Sometimes I see you up 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Like literally, there's no clock for you. You just work anytime, anywhere. So like, what are you thinking in your head? Like, what do you see? What's driving you toward that goal to work so hard?
The people that believe in you. You know, I always say, don't do stuff to prove people wrong. Prove those people who believe in you right. Prove those people that believed in you right. I know you have people that always believed in you, that always thought you were special, and that need you. They need to see you doing something. They need to see you working to keep going. Because I have people like that too. I have people who I look up to that I need to see them working. So I can be like, okay, he's working, he's in the lab right now, I'm gonna go get in the lab. He's uploading 5 videos a day, I need to go do it. He's going live 3 times a day, I need to go do it. So those people are important. So you gotta be that person too. So it's not just about you. You're not just working for us and our family and our money, bro. It's deeper than that. It's kind of our purpose, you know?
Yo, that's so true, because whenever I'm sitting in my hotel room and I'm like, yo, I should film, but dude, I'm kind of tired. I turn on YouTube and look for you to see if you're online. And if you're online,
for you, bro.
It's like, shit, my man is online. Let's see what he's doing. Let's see what he's talking about. And, you know, I find inspiration out of that. And that's why it's good that, you know, guys operate in a band of brothers, you know. Like, find people who are like-minded, who are like you on the grind, think similar to you and have similar vision and work ethic. And then, you know, bond with those people, whether you are with them physically or just through online. And those people are going to give you that push of energy when you need. Because sometimes, man, even the best of us, we need that little push to get up and to do work. We need to be reminded of why we're here. So that's cool, man. Do you have any tips for people who are starting out doing YouTube or online stuff?
Yeah. Humility. Humility is important. You need to not be afraid to be embarrassed, not be afraid of hate comments, not be afraid to be an outlier, not be afraid to be different, not be afraid to stand on what you believe in, you know? Humility is number one. Stop caring what people think. People around you are not gonna be your biggest supporters. People that are gonna support you the most are gonna be people that don't know you, that don't come from your walk of life, that don't share the same age range and demographic as you. And that's just life, you know? People around you might limit you. They might treat you like the same guy you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You're not that anymore. You know, we're focused on bigger and growth, and most people aren't. So just find that little sweet spot and stay consistent. Stay in people's faces.
100%, man. Don't be afraid to stay in people's faces. That's one weakness that I had before that I quickly changed, and in part due to you and your channel as well. And that's gonna allow you to achieve what you want and be your real self. It's just to stand in the face of people. Don't shy away from their energy, the eye contact, or the conversation, you know, because then you're shutting off your natural power, the instinct that you have to read people and to express yourself. So when you're in front of people, be there, be fully there, and pay attention. And that's when you're gonna learn the most and get the most out of the situation. So tell us how many countries you've been to, and like of all those places, which are your favorite cities?
Hey man, I've been to maybe 15 to 20 countries. I can't really keep count, but my favorite places are Thailand. I love London. London's one of my favorite cities. It kind of plays a big part of why I travel anyway. And I love Colombia as well. I love Cartagena, Colombia. That's one of my new favorites because the culture, and I speak Spanish, so I feel like I had a warm welcome. I feel like the people kind of understand me on a different level. Same with Thailand. I feel like me speaking a little bit of Thai, I feel like it allows the people to understand me on a deeper level and to understand my heart posture. I feel like that's very important when traveling, being understood.
If you had to pick one of those places to settle down permanently, which one would you choose?
I have a few places that I would like to, and I have settled here a little bit. I'm only 22 years old, so me staying here for 6 months, that's a long time. That's a school year, damn near. So I can't really say settle down. I don't really know what that means as of yet, because I'm still young. I still want to experience a lot of life. And there's a lot of places I haven't been that I belong in, I haven't been to South Africa yet. So I don't know what South Africa's like. I don't know if I'll be there and I'll be like, holy shit, I want to stay here for 2 years, So as far as now, those are the three places that I've spent the most time in outside of America: London, Thailand, Colombia. So I feel like those are like, my sweet spots right now. But times change, your money changes, so you might be able to, I might go to Dubai and like Dubai. Right now it's like kind of a little more grounded.
If you do pick a place to live, like, would it be based on like how you vibe with the place? Would it be about your career, or would it be about like a woman? What is that factor that's going to drive you the most to settle in one place?
The culture, the weather is important for me as well, and how daily life is. Phuket, I like daily life here because it's easy. Like, you can walk around, you don't need much. You don't need, there's not much social pressure. There's not much social pressure. It's kind of like not judgmental, I like places like that where I can slip under the radar as an introvert, as well as be social if I want to, if I choose to, and get content if I need to. I feel like Thailand is #1 with that. As far as there's always content, there's always a chance to be social, and there's always a chance to go tuck in your shell and enjoy nature or stay home and be an introvert.
Agreed. I'm Vietnamese and I live in Canada, and I have to say, like, one of the best places to live is Thailand too. It's basically got everything going on here. It's a nice mixture. What are your thoughts on women and commitment or starting a family? Do you see yourself doing any of those things, or in how long?
I always say I don't like to put limits on my future self. My future self is a stranger to myself right now, so I can't really speak for that. As far as women and children, I do want a lot of children, but I don't know if that's gonna continue to be with me as I grow older and I see more of the world. And women, I can't really tell what woman is for me, because I don't know what myself is gonna be like at 25. I don't know who I'm gonna be at 30, So I like to let time tell. I'm a patient person, I like to let things play out how they play out. I don't really rush into anything. I don't really force anything that's not meant to be.
You asked me this question, I thought it was very interesting, so I'm going to copy it. What is your experience like as a black man in Thailand, and what is it like in America? So can you describe and then compare that?
Yeah, so being a black man in America, it's kind of like you kind of fit into like a certain demographic, especially from certain cities. Like are you from Toronto?
Yeah, Toronto.
So in Toronto, most black people are from a certain area, Canada's one of the whitest countries on earth, So most black people are gonna be from a certain area. Most people that see black people, they're gonna assume you're from a certain area, So that's how kind of America is, especially a state like Massachusetts, where it's like maybe 70-something% white, one of the whitest countries, whitest states. So as a black man, it's kind of hard to get out of the box. It's kind of hard to be seen as something different. So I feel like overseas in Thailand, it's kind of more like a fresh slate. There are stereotypes, but like you kind of more of an individual out here. You know, based on the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, the things you do, the type of people you're around. You're kind of more of an individual compared to America. And I feel like that's healthier for a young black man's growth in this world, you know? In America, it's kind of like a small, limited population. You kind of got to listen to certain music, take in certain frequencies. You're treated certain ways by people. So I feel like that can stunt your growth as a young man, you know? I feel like overseas, you have more of a canvas to create and be who you want to be.
So with all of that conflict, like there's a lot of problems and people giving you hate, how do you still grow and how do you not be angry? I'm just giving an example for people who don't have the money to go abroad, you know, to open their perspective. They have to deal with where they're at now. Maybe they're still in their teenage years. So with all the difficulty you're facing, how do you advise somebody to overcome those?
You have to see the bigger picture, you know, like when I was in America coming up, I kind of had like resentment and anger just for, you know, the things I was up against every day. You know, but like, if you can't get overseas, I feel like you should have that in the future. You should always focus on your future. Even when I go back to America, it's like I'm not even there. I get a whole different experience now. It's like I don't care about the things that I used to care about. I'm focused on partying in France. I'm focused on being in Thailand, where I get the red carpet rolled out for me. My mind is on being in fucking Maldives. You know, I'm not really physically there. And it's even when I'm out here, I'm not physically here. I'm on a different level. So if locals are racist to me, I don't have to be here. I can go somewhere else and take my talents elsewhere and make my money elsewhere, you know? But yeah, when I first came to Thailand, I made a video about this. I met a black guy, an old black guy. He had a weed shop. This is when they first legalized weed in Thailand. And he told me something that stuck with me forever. He said, don't go back to America. And if you ever go back to America, don't get into it with anybody. Don't let anybody trick you out your freedom. Don't let anybody play with you. Don't let anybody put negativity into your mind. Because you've been out here. You know what it's like out here. You know? So when you're in America, don't take anything anybody says serious. Because you know you can be in Thailand. You can be across the water where you're living the dream. You're living like a king, and nobody's gonna understand that. So I feel like that's kind of like dodging the matrix in a way.
Have you ever been in a heartbreak? Have you ever been in love with somebody and then it didn't work out and you were broken by it?
I've never been broken, but I've been betrayed. Betrayal is a real thing that I don't like, you know? Betrayal is like my number one ick. So I've never been heartbroken. I kind of always think ahead. I always think, if you watch my videos, you'll kind of understand. A lot of people think I'm negative, but I'm just straight up. I tell myself the truth before anybody else can. So nothing can surprise me, you know? I tell myself the hard truth every day. Every day I wake up, whether it's true or not. I tell myself the worst possibility, you know? So I feel like heartbreak is something that only can happen if you're falling in love. I don't fall in love. I don't fall, you know? I might love someone, but I don't fall in love. So I feel like if you fall in love, that's on you. Betrayal is normal. It's gonna happen to everyone. But heartbreak, I feel like that's a choice.
A lot of people that watch us are presumably young men, right? I get like 75% men viewership, and most of them are within the 25 to 45 age range. So this is where you start falling in love, starting a family and stuff. And a lot of time people don't pursue or they don't get to their goal because they're distracted by women. And rightfully so, because we all want companionship, we want intimacy. So it's hard to not fall in love with one person and get your heart broken. So let's say somebody out there, a viewer, they're going through hard times with a woman. How would you advise them to get over that?
In this world, you gotta understand. It feels like, it might seem like I have an answer for everything, but these are things that I've always thought about. In this world, you have to understand everything is temporary. You don't own anyone. You can't shape anyone's life to a way they don't want to be shaped, you know? So it's like, you just gotta accept the fact that things in life are just experiences. If you find someone that you last forever with, that's on you. That's a win. That's a blessing. That's from God. But at the end of the day, everyone wants to grow. You know, if you meet a woman at 25, don't expect to be with her at 45. You're not the same person you guys were at 25. You know, people grow. You can't keep someone in that loop. And I've been through that, you know? Sometimes I'll be with a woman and it's like 2 weeks later, I'm like, I'm not the same guy I used to be. My life is fast. I'm growing at a rapid rate. I'm not the same guy I was a month ago, you know? The same guy that was impressed by looks and your body and flesh. I'm not that same guy anymore. You know, I've been seeing new things. I didn't realize new things. So that's part of life as a growing person.
So basically take your head out of that situation and think more broadly, and then you will not be stuck in your desire for one woman and flesh.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is not a pessimistic thing. This is an optimistic view. This is a view to move forward. This is not something to say, oh, everything's gonna fall apart. Life is just gonna suck. No, life is gonna get better when you realize these things and when you understand that you can be fluid and accept things that come and go, you know?
Last question. I see you approaching anybody in your daily life and in your videos. Like, you are unfazed. You can talk to anybody, and if things don't go well, you can step away and it doesn't affect you at all. How did you build that mentality, or what are you thinking? How are you able to have this confidence to literally approach anybody and talk to them, and if the vibe don't go well, you just walk away without even a small expression in your face? Like, it feels like you're so stoic through it all. How do you do it?
Great question. A lot of people might think I'm an extrovert because of that. I'm really an introvert at heart. But one thing I said in the beginning of the interview, humility. I accepted the fact a long time ago that nobody can embarrass me, you know? Rejection is part of life. Rejection is a good thing. Rejection is a learning point, you know? I feel like in life, the more risk you take, socially, physically, all type of stuff, that is experience, that is knowledge, that is data, that is wisdom, you know? And I feel like those are the risks you gotta take in life to become a better man, to become a well-seasoned man, a well-traveled man. All you gotta do is put yourself in the mindset that no one can embarrass you. You can only learn. This is your experience, this is your life, this is your journey, you know? They don't matter, nobody matters. Nobody's opinion matters, nobody's judgment matters, you know?
Do you have any final thoughts or tips for the viewers, and could you tell us where we can find you?
I'm gonna give y'all one more piece of advice. Do everything you say you're gonna do. Do everything you say you're gonna do. If you go a day and if you go one time without doing what you say you're gonna do, it becomes a habit. So form good habits. Everything you do has to be a good habit. Anything that's a bad habit will form and it will take over. So form good habits of doing everything you say you're gonna do specifically in life. You feel me? Everything I put into this universe is something that I live by and I will do. Even if I don't believe it fully, it becomes a belief, it becomes part of my ways of life, you know? So if I say I'm gonna make $100 a day, eventually I will make $100 a day. If I say I'm gonna make $10,000 a month, eventually I'm gonna do that, you know? So work on doing everything you say you're gonna do. You can find me at Global Ceezy on all platforms. You can find me on Darren Walking By's channel. You can find me on TikTok at Global Ceezy Official. You can find my book on Amazon.com. Just search up Global Ceezy International Travel Bible. You can find my website, my merchandise at globalunityshop.com. You can find me somewhere overseas if you're just in the right frequency. If we're on the same frequency, we're gonna meet.